lovelies, I hope you're all well. Today I'm doing this smoky dramatic look for you, and it is featuring a new makeup line that I've just discovered called Beauty. This is actually co-founded by Kimberly Wyatt, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls, and she was also a judge on So You Think You Can Dance. Her and her partner Noir have just set up this company, and they got in contact with me and sent me a few products to try out. And as some of you who have been subscribed to me for a while will know, I'm a huge lover of mineral makeup. All of my early tutorials were about mineral makeup. I wore mineral foundation all the time in my early teens because I do have sensitive skin and a lot of products do irritate my skin. What I really like about this brand is that even though they have such a large range, they have foundations, eyeshadows, mascaras, lip glosses, you know, it's quite a large range to start with. They do have a holistic approach towards it in terms of being cruelty free. They are approved by PETA. They also don't have any bismuth, which irritates a lot of people's skin in their foundations. They're also free from synthetic additives, so any kind of synthetic fragrances or colours. So they're really good for people who do have sensitive skin. And a lot of brands have that, but then the colours aren't very vibrant, the eyeshadows aren't very vibrant, whereas these are really pigmented. They seem to be really good quality, and they're also affordable. So I've pretty much enjoyed everything I've tried in this line, and I look forward to trying a few more of their products and experimenting with them, and I'm sure they'll be featuring in some tutorials or looks of the day in the future. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. This look is actually based on one of Kimberly's promo images for the line. Let me know what you think of mineral makeup, if you ever tried Beauty or any other brands, and yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. So let's begin with our other eye. I've already primed my eye with a primer, which is really important when you're using mineral eyeshadows. The first shadow we're going to take is an absolute staple. It's a lovely matte brown earthy tone, and it's called Mississippi Mud. So it just comes in packaging like this, similar to many other eyeshadows, and there's the lid. Beauty. So I'm just going to take that with a flat brush, and we're going to pack that into our brush and then tap off any excess in the lid, because as you know, with these kind of shadows you do get some fallout. And then all we're going to do is start pressing that into the lid. Now you can see how pigmented the shadow is, so it doesn't take a lot of effort. Don't sweep it back and forward because that can create some fallout. If you have a good base on your eyelid, then just pressing it on like this should be enough to lay down a good saturation of colour, just like that. And then what we're going to do is use the ends of the brush just to blend it out a little bit. So you're kind of going beyond the crease, but you're not adding a lot more colour, you're just blending the edges a little bit softly. And then with the ends of the brush, you want to pack a little bit more shadow on the end, and then just go under your eye. Because it's quite a dramatic smoky eye look, you can go a little bit lower than usual. We are going to blend it a little bit, so don't be worried if you're not creating a very thin line, because this brown is acting as our base colour, and we're going to use this to blend out the black. As you can see, it's already quite intense. You want to take a clean blending brush at this point and just smooth over the edges. Don't blend in the middle and then out, because you're going to take away the colour from the lid. You just want to blend along the edges and feather that colour out to start creating that gorgeous smoky look. And of course it's up to you how high you want to take the shadow. If you have a lot of lid space, you can afford to go a little bit higher. If you have smaller eyes like me, you want to keep it just above the crease. But because these are mineral shadows, they're very easy to blend. So if you do go a little bit higher, you can always bring the colour a little bit more down with your highlight. So I've just blended that out just to create a soft, smoky effect. And now we're going to take the black. As you can see, this is a really deep black. It's very matte, and it's just called Noir. I'm going to use that with a different brush. It's the same principle though. You want a flat brush, nothing too fluffy, because the fluffier it is, the more likely it is that you're going to get fallout. So a nice flat brush, I'm using a synthetic brush. You want to really pack the colour into the brush so that it doesn't all fall out, and make sure to tap it off. And what we're going to do is pat the black on and really concentrate it on the lid. I've just put a little bit of that shadow because it is very pigmented, and it's better to build it up in layers than kind of go in with a lot of shadow on your brush, especially if you've done your foundation already like I have. You don't want that black to fall under your eye and give you a dark ring. So just take your time and pat it on and build up the colour gradually. Just like that, and you can see it's already very deep black, and I haven't used too much shadow really. I'm also going to blend that. You can use the same brush, I'm just using a different one that has a little bit of that brown on there, and just at the edges again, we're just blending, but this should be right in your crease. You've only taken that black up to the crease, so you only want to blend it along the crease, not much higher up. If you want a little more black on the lid, you can go back and add some and blend until you're satisfied, and it really depends on how dramatic you want to take this look. I mean, I'm going pretty dramatic because I'm going for what the inspiration photo looks like. Last step with the shadow is just to take a little brush. You can take a pencil brush. I'm actually using a flat liner type brush and loading up the black shadow Noir on there, and then I'm just going to trace right along my lower lash line, almost creating an eyeliner effect, but I don't want to use eyeliner because I wanted to keep it soft. If you wet the shadow, you can use it as a wet liner if you want a really defined bottom. Then all I'm going to do is just take a Q-tip to blend the edges. You can use a brush for this, but I find a Q-tip is much quicker. And the side of the Q-tip also helps to wipe up any shadow that may have fallen down. So now that our shadow is all done, it looks like this. As you can see, this eye is much higher than the other one. What I'm going to do is take my mineral foundation, which is in the colour Stripped, and it's just a very light colour because, you know, I'm pale. So I often use my foundation as a highlight. When you're using such dark colours, you don't want anything too light or too shimmery on the brow. It just looks a little bit overdone. So the easiest thing is just to use your foundation and then blend on the brow and bring it in a little bit. And that will blend the colour out and also create that lovely smoky look. Now it's just time for our eyeliner. I'm just using a plain black liner along the top, and then I'm going to flick it out a little bit as well. Little tip when you're doing your eyeliner is also to use a Q-tip and just tidy it up at the corner. That way the angle of your shadow and your eyeliner can be in perfect harmony. And now last step is just to add the mascara, and this is the Beautiful Lashes Mascara from BUAV in black. This is actually quite a natural looking mascara. Although it is quite deep and pigmented, it separates the lashes and gives them a little bit of length without giving too much volume, so I think it's perfect for everyday use, but maybe not quite dramatic enough for this. So this is pretty much the final look for the eyes of the mascara, and it's a really lovely natural mascara that really defines the lashes and separates them. But for a dark look like this, as you can see, I think maybe it's not volumizing or dramatic enough. So of course you can leave it like this, but as I'm going for the picture, I'm going to add some lashes. So I'm just going to get those on and get back to you in a second. So this is the look with the lashes. In the photos you can see Kimberly's wearing some amazing wispy lashes. So I went for Uemura Smoky Lashes just to give that really big fluttery eyelash effect. Now let me tell you what I'm wearing on the rest of my face. As I've already mentioned, I'm wearing the Stripped Mineral Foundation, which as you can see gives a really nice finish, really nice coverage, and still looks really natural. It does have kind of a little bit of shimmer in it, just the tiniest amount, just so that you don't get that really matte cakey look, so you have a little bit of a glow. Then as my bronzer today, I just used another colour of foundation, which is the Mineral Foundation in Walnut Whisper. This is just a darker colour, so for me it works as a bronzer. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but it does have that little bit of shimmer in it. Once again, nothing glittery. I've tested this foundation out in the sun and it doesn't look, you know, too bright, but just really nice to give you a little bit of a glow. And then on my cheeks I'm wearing the Mineral Blush in Peachy Glow. Just a really, really nice orange. I'm not sure if it goes with my skin tone. I think it looks a little bit better if you're tanned. If you're very pale, I think I would stick to the more pinky sides because this one is quite peach. But with a little bit of bronzer, it does look really nice. And then on my lips, I'm just going to finish off the look with a really nice pale neutral lip gloss, and this is Nude. And what I love about these lip glosses is that they're completely non-sticky. I just feel almost like a balm on the lips. As you can see, it is quite nude and it has a good density of colour, but it goes perfectly with that kind of smoky eye look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you check out BM then do let me know what products you liked. If you have any questions or want any more reviews of any products or any more tutorials featuring them, just let me know. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all soon. Bye.